Yo, Darius Britt here, and today we are breaking down Mad Max Fury Road. It is directed by George Miller. This is the same guy who wrote and directed Babe the Pig movie and Happy Feet, the little animated penguin movie. If you're new to filmmaking and screenwriting, it helps to break down movies into their various story elements. If you're not familiar with the 3-act structure, I will leave a link in the description section to a video that I did on it. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you should check that out first for obvious reasons. Total runtime is 2 hours. At about that time, let's get into it.
Hook. Max is captured by the War Boys and taken to Immortan Joe's citadel to become a blood donor. He almost escapes. Too bad he doesn't. First plot point. Furiosa. One of Immortan Joe's lieutenants drives off course with a war rig away from Gas Town and Bullet Town. Immortan Joe realizes that Furiosa has taken his 5 wives.
By 5 wives, we mean women who were selected for breeding. Just to clear that up.
Massive pursuit, sandstorms, B-story. It's a buddy story. Max meets with Furiosa and the stolen wives. They're definitely not buddies at first. They almost make each other eat bullets. Max almost succeeds in stealing the war rig, but then he reluctantly agrees to let Furiosa and the 5 wives join him. Act 2. Journey to the green place. Furiosa's deal with a biker gang goes south. They lose a breeder. C-story. War boy meets girl.
Stop doing that.
Capable finds the war boy Nooks hiding out in the rig. He's beating himself up over his failures, and then she consoles him.
Oh, she's such a sweetie.
C-story. The gang gets stuck in a swamp, and then Nooks, the war boy, helps him escape. So I guess he's part of the team now. False defeat.
You passed it. The crows. That creepy place with all the crows.
We discovered that the uninhabitable swamplands that they passed earlier was, in fact, the green place that they had been looking for. Oops.
And you came all that way, too. That sucks.
Dark Night of the Soul. That's a pretty big fail. Furiosa loses it. Second plot point / B-story inspiration.
We take the war rig and we charge it right through the middle of them.
Max convinces Furiosa and the gang to return and take over the citadel, which has plenty of food and water. It might be a shot at redemption for both of them. Climax. Explosions. People die. Immortan Joe loses half his face. This guy lifts an engine. C-story climax. Warboy Nook sacrifices himself for Capable and the rest of the gang and wrecks the war rig.
B-story climax. Max transfuses his blood to save a mortally wounded Furiosa. He finally tells her his real name. Their friendship's pretty much Facebook official.
Resolution. Max and the gang return to the unprotected citadel with Immortan Joe's dead body. All hail Furiosa. B-story resolution. Max says his goodbyes to Furiosa and disappears into the crowd like a boss. Boom. Structure. The interesting thing about Mad Max is the movie really isn't about Max at all. Max is kind of like a sidekick in his own movie. Furiosa's the one that drives the plot. She's the one that makes all the decisions that move the story forward. Max doesn't have a goal other than to survive and eventually help her as a tag-along. The movie could have been called Mad Furiosa. We don't see the inciting incident. It happens off-screen before the story starts. Furiosa's pissed at Immortan Joe for something he did. We're not really given all of the details, but let's face it, he's probably pissed off a lot of people. The guy's a jerk. We only start following Furiosa after she's already decided to do something about the problem. There is no build up to a midpoint climax in this film. It's just one big car chase. There actually isn't very much of a plot at all if you look at it. What I liked, Furiosa isn't a damsel in distress. She can take care of herself. She doesn't need anybody's anything. As a matter of fact, she's doing the saving.
And the wives are kind of mouthy.
Don't damage the goods. He's a crazy smeg who eats schlanger.
They got some attitude, they got lip. I like it. It's way more authentic. If they'd been living in this crazy world, it's not hard to believe they would have grown like a thick skin about things.
There is so much spectacle in this film. Feels like you're at a cinematic amusement park. It's immersive. Everything is so beautiful and interesting to look at. Production value is off the chain. I dig the sense of peril. Max is constantly getting pounded on. He's human, he's vulnerable, he bleeds, The fights feel real. You can feel the struggle and the desperation. Character arcs. There isn't a lot of character development. There's a few moments of heart here and there, but it's ultimately an action movie and it's aware of what it is. You don't really watch a movie like Mad Max for transformative characters. Furiosa's search for redemption ties into her dramatic goal, but I wouldn't really classify that as a character arc per se. Nooks is about the closest thing we get to a character arc, really. Nooks is a brainwashed war boy who finds love. His relationship with Capable helps him overcome all of his war boyness.
I don't really believe that a guy who's brainwashed from birth could come around to reality in the span of a 2-day car chase, but what are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, and then there's Max. Max finds a friend. He doesn't trust anybody, but then he learns to trust Furiosa. All of the character development feels more like an afterthought compared to the attention to detail given to everything else. Notes: I can see how for some this movie could get very monotonous. It's pretty much one big car chase, and if you're looking for something more than just adrenaline pumping action, you might be a little disappointed.
I cannot believe that this film has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it's insane considering this movie doesn't really have much of a plot. Like, I mean, that's scored better than The Dark Knight at 94%. I mean, it's good, but it's not that good. What I think happened is people just got caught up with the aesthetics of it.
It's a very impressive technical achievement, very beautiful and immersive, but not much in the way of a narrative. The crazy post-apocalyptic world is so well executed visually, and it has pretty much everything you'd ever want out of an action movie, so people just didn't care about the plot.
But I think people will expect more out of the next sequel because, I mean, you've already shocked us with the wow factor of this world, so that's not really going to be as powerful of a factor next time. Well, that's all I got for you. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like or subscribe. You can find me on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or the Twitter, baby. You can also check out my second YouTube channel, Darius Britt, where I vlog about my adventures on the film fights of a circuit, my first feature-length film, Unsound, live casting vlogs, etc., etc. I do believe that's all I got for you, suckers. D-Word, Booyah.